Hey guys, welcome to Front Seat Gamer. For our 100th episode, we are doing something a little special. We're going to air our never before heard pilot episode made like 4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years ago. I think it was made in like January or February 2015.
It might have even been like December 2014 or something. But it was long enough ago, and it's bad enough that I'm going to apologize now. Sorry.
It's way better than I remembered.
Okay. That's
I listened to it not
a very
too long
low
ago.
bar.
Yeah.
So enjoy this thing for what it is, and thank you for listening to this podcast.
Thanks.
Bye. Here we go.
All right, how would you introduce an episode?
Well, there's no name.
Mm-hmm.
So
Name.
Well, it's video games dummy. I think that's what we've decided with.
I'm going with pre-alpha for now.
Pre-alpha's
Pre-alpha's
okay.
cool? Yeah, alright. We can
But
always change
actually,
it.
do you need to introduce it with a name?
I would say.
Could you be like, hey, it's Nick? And then...
I mean, we do need to put it up on iTunes with a name.
But we don't need to decide that right now.
I mean, yeah, I suppose we don't need to decide that right now, so you can just say, hey, this is a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to our podcast.
Yes. That worked.
It's a podcast.
All right. So I'll start us off, and then we'll each introduce ourselves. And
Have you got the doc up with like? Because there was some minor structure with it.
Oh yeah, so I thought we could start it off with a bit of an introduction.
Oh yeah, that's
Sort of
good,
like
yeah.
what you wanted to do, Nick, just now.
Tell me more.
And we could just talk about how we got into the industry.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
a couple words.
Sure.
Do you want to go around and like, introduce yourself and say what you do in the game?
Damn it, we're now repeating ourselves.
Yeah.
Do we want to just start recording again rather than?
No, we can always
Yeah,
get
just
it
keep
out.
going.
You could take a mental break. You could restart it.
Just seems like.
We can put an audio cue here,
I
like
don't know how big your hard drive is.
Cut.
Start again.
Well, I need one of those clappers. Also, a camera so that you can see me clapping it. Otherwise, you miss the point.
Well, we do see you clapping though.
So I've got questions there when you guys want them.
Okay.
So let's introduce this bastard.
Shut up, everyone. Hi, and welcome to a podcast. As of right now, we don't have a name for it. I'm Nick, by the way. I work at Grinding Gear Games. I'm one of the game designers. I got into it, originally I was doing game reviews, and through a weird series of connections, met the founders of Grinding Gear, and then asked them for a job like 4 years later. It's pretty good. With me...
You didn't want to seem too eager.
Yeah, I only begged a little bit. I only spent never mind. Go.
Okay, well, I'm Blake. I am the environment artist at Unaired Games. I got into the industry because I like games, really, and I like 3D art. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm Sven. I'm a 3D artist at Grinding Gear Games. I guess I got into it just after watching and playing, like watching movies and playing video games as well. Nothing too interesting.
Were there any movies in particular that inspired you?
Toy Story was pretty good.
Toy Story.
Like all the Pixar movies were really inspiring. I guess special effects at that time there was like Jurassic Park coming up, and you kind of just saw like the early stages of 3D, sort of like.
And
Well,
how
particularly in Jurassic Park, you
Uh-huh.
know, how it was just like everything kind of took that shift towards
Wow.
CG.
Jurassic Park was your inspiration for most of your life.
Actually, no, not really. What really got me into it was after like my brother came back from uni, and he'd been playing around with 3ds Max,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he showed me these images, and I was like, holy shit, you made these? And it was like
Man.
a Metroplex model, like a Transformers Metroplex. And I was like, holy shit, like, could you move that? And he was like, yeah, man, you can, like, animate and do everything in this program. And I was like, I guess that's what I'm doing.
Oh, man. I had a my science teacher in high school, I guess, sort of got me into 3D, which is weird because he was just like a science teacher. He was a 3D artist who then decided to become a science teacher.
Shit.
And he was into like 3D Max, and he'd done like ads for telecom and stuff, I think, and he like gave me a copy, and I just did a bunch of tutorials and was like, shit, I can't believe people like make this. I thought like it was made by robots or something.
Wow. What version was it back then?
It actually wasn't 3D Max. It was a weird SKU of it called G-Max, and it had no renderer. So when I
Screen grabs.
yeah,
Right in the viewport.
yeah, it seriously was screen grabs. Yeah, and he taught me a little bit of Photoshop. Up until then, I was like, I don't need to use Photoshop. I can do anything in MSN Paint.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing. I was like, screen printing and putting into MSN Paint for my design project I was doing in high school.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed.
Yeah, that's still what I did.
You're still using MS Paint for everything you do, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's. Have you seen the new MS Paint?
Oh, it's pretty good now, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're getting some features. I got a Microsoft Surface recently, and they've got this neat little paint program. I don't know. I think it's just called Paint?
Surface Paint?
Surface Paint?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't
No.
used one of those.
Okay. I don't know. It might be on your computer because you've got the thing. Anyway, it's real fancy. You can do like all the paint stuff. Like it simulates real
Right.
paint. It smears and
Well,
stuff.
oh, really?
Yeah, it's really neat.
Shit, that actually does sound
It's really neat. It's got with the touchscreen. You use a little stylus thing and smear stuff around. I have no idea how to make anything pretty with it, but I can doodle. So that's pretty cool. So we posted on our forums in the off-topic forums, because technically not a grinding gear operation here, guys. If you guys had any questions you wanted us to answer, and we got a bunch of good questions actually. So let's lead off.
You might have to help me with usernames because I'm
Okay.
useless. But
I've actually got a couple questions from a good mate of mine.
okay, we'll go with those first.
If I can run some of
Yeah,
them
yeah.
by you. And this first one's very console-centric. I think, like, what I thought we could do with the podcast is mainly talk about video game-related stuff from a dev point of view, which is kind of what I'm pushing for, and I hope you guys are agreeing with me.
Hope you listeners are interested in that, right?
No,
Hope.
I'm looking at you guys.
I'm bored already. No.
So
Go
this
ahead.
first question is: do you think next-gen consoles are underpowered? It's from my
Ooh.
good buddy Andrew.
They're more underpowered than my computer.
Mm.
But I did spend like over $2,000 on a new
Yep.
computer.
Fair.
How old
That's
is your
fair enough.
computer?
My computer?
Yeah, when
like
did you get it?
2 months ago.
Well, that's probably
Yeah,
that would be why.
yeah.
But there's also that point of view where like, people aren't really making games for your computer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure everyone's targeting consoles, and if they can, they'll make a PC SKU with like higher resolution, better frame rate, more textures.
So there is this weird thing with consoles. I mean, if you look at early Xbox 360 games, I mean, back then they were still kind of mind-blowing because at that stage, only crazy high-end computers were doing that sort of stuff. But when you compare an early Xbox 360 game to like the last Call of Duty that came out on Xbox 360, the difference is incredible, right? Like the amount of power they can squeeze out of those things is amazing as they optimize their tools and stuff. And so right now, the hardware is definitely not super impressive, although they do have some interesting features and they have some interesting, like, all the social media stuff has some interesting possibilities, and as much as the Kinect is maligned, I think it's kind of a cool piece of hardware. But as far as the actual hardware under the hood is concerned, it doesn't really matter that much to a point, especially this early on, because they're not really getting everything they can out of that hardware. I think that like 2 years from now, you'll look at the launch titles for the Xbox One and go, ugh. But now they're great. This is so cool. Although I could be wrong.
I agree with you.
Could still be terrible.
I definitely think these current gen consoles are going to follow the exact same curve. They're going to set the pace for video games. Like, you don't see... Are there many video game studios you guys know of that are developing just for the PC? I guess Star Citizen would be one.
Yeah, Star Citizen and... Well, even...
Blizzard.
Yeah, but they're not really pushing it. Like, I guess they're killing it in the cinematics.
Who's it? Sid Firaxis? Do they do the Civilization?
Yeah, Sid Meier's.
But I mean, they do have console versions that they actually did take ideas from and put into...
They did do that Civ console game.
Yeah,
the name of which I've totally forgotten.
Revolutions, I think?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But I think, like, right now, like, the console is sort of the pace car, and that will lead the charge with, like, all development now for video games.
It's also like, the console is just convenience, because you just plug it in and it works. You don't have to download drivers, you don't have to, like, make sure shit's updated, you know. You don't have to worry about hardware conflicts and all that sort of stuff. It just, you know, it just works.
It's also usually a lot cheaper. Like,
yeah.
Like you said, you spent $2,000 on your PC.
On your tower.
If I mean, a console is what, like $800 in
about 600.
600, and then even cheaper in the US.
Yeah.
So, you really you're getting what you pay for, and I mean you're probably getting more than what you pay for with the consoles because a lot of their money comes from the sale of the games. So.
Well, they also have...
You are comparing like high-end PC graphics to mid-range hardware for a good price.
Their hardware was not like crazy impressive when they came out with it. But I wonder, like, which is it's fine because otherwise every console will be worth like $2,000 or something, you know.
Right.
But I wonder how long do you guys think this console generation is going to last? Because the last one was like, what has it been, like 10 years or something ridiculous like that? Like, it's seriously long.
Like
yeah.
How long do you guys
reckon?
It
seems like it's growing. Like, if you were just to have a look at, like, past consoles.
We're looking at a, what, 15 years?
I think it's like 6 years from, like, PlayStation 1 to 2, right? It wasn't like 8 from 2 to 3? 10?
Yeah, they were
3 to 4?
Maybe, yeah.
On the other hand, graphics and like input devices are advancing way more rapidly than they were previously.
But I think also, do you think graphics is sort of like topped out a little bit?
What do you mean?
Like, things look really, really good, even on a 360. Well, yeah, even on like a 360, things look like pretty decent.
No, man, they're
No, straight up, no.
No, because like the 360 was putting out like 720. You know, its resolution sucked off the bat. So it's like, you know, with 4K coming around the corner, could you imagine blowing that up? Like, it's not a thing. Especially when you have, like, you know, Morpheus and, like, Oculus coming out. Dude, like...
What's Morpheus? Sorry,
it's Sony's headset.
Yeah, it's a Sony headset.
But, like, as soon as you put, like, stereoscopic lenses in a video game, like, and having it rendered double at, like, a shitty resolution,
fair enough.
Like, it's going to kill them. So hardware's not there. It's not capable.
On the other hand, like when the screen is that small, when it's directly over your eyes, the resolution is not going to be high, right?
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I think that tech will also evolve as well.
Have you used an Oculus? Mm-hmm. Kind of. I mean, it's cool tech, but man, you can see the pixels.
Oh yeah.
Every iteration they've been making it better.
Sure.
You know? And also, like, from what I understand is because if you're like me, you've only used them at like shows, right? Mm-hmm. And apparently there's like lenses you get that you can actually adjust specifically for your eyes to get the best quality for your eyesight.
I at a company I previously worked at, they had one, and I messed around with it a little bit. I don't know about the lens thing.
Yeah.
But it definitely was not virtual reality. It was definitely like, oh, there's screens directly in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
That said,
Yeah.
I like the motion detection stuff, and I like the potential. And I foresee myself walking into many a wall with one on my face in the future.
Man, like when I used it, I remember, we went to that, what was it
Digital
called?
Nations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like putting one of those on and being in that roller coaster sim,
Yeah.
like I could actually feel my body shifting.
Yeah.
Like
Like I got
in
proper vertigo
anticipation,
doing
like
that,
just
yeah.
like seeing that top of the roller coaster coming, and you're like, holy shit, I'm bracing myself for this, and then like leaning forward
Yeah.
and leaning back, like accordingly.
Mm.
And it was just like, it was
Mhm.
just the lenses.
You totally. Yeah, I was surprised that I actually got like vertigo. Like you get to the top of that roller coaster and you're looking down, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, man. But like, my body was swaying.
Yeah.
Which was like, holy shit. Like, it's tricking me. Like, I know that these
Yeah.
are lenses, too.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that was like, what, first gen? Like,
Yeah, I
I've
think
been
it
working
was.
on that.
That was
How
2 years.
old
That was
is
almost 2 years. That was a year and a half ago that we saw that.
Yeah, man. So they must be
The
doing some
one,
really
the
cool
one
shit
I
now.
saw, because I went to the same show, Digital Nations, last year, and the one I saw was slightly better,
Mhm.
like slightly clearer. But they had like Media Design School. I think had made a bunch of, like Media Design School students had made a bunch of indie games.
Yeah.
And I mean they weren't spectacular, but just the fact that they were like virtual reality made them incredible.
Okay.
You know, like there was the one I played was like you were two mages and you're shooting fireballs at each other, and that was it. And the environments wasn't amazing. It was like very blocky and stuff.
Mm.
But I still stood there looking around at stuff
Right.
just because it was like this is like I'm
Sure.
actually there. You know?
I mean, one of the first things that implemented for that VR thing was Minecraft, right?
yeah,
So it doesn't really matter what the visuals are.
Yeah,
All it's more about the immersion.
it is. Yeah.
It's neat feeling like you're in that blocky universe. So in closing,
So what was the question?
consoles suck. The hardware's
It was
hardware blows.
We were talking
and
about, console
PC for
hardware.
life. No, they're fine. I think they're fine for what they do.
Yeah, I think they are underpowered, right?
Yeah, and they'll
Compared to-
if the thing is, even if they're not underpowered now,
Mhm.
if their lifespan lasts longer than this generation, they will definitely be super underpowered by the end.
Mhm.
And you know, you kind of saw that with the 360 and stuff.
I mean, how much power do you need for a game?
All the power.
Okay, well then yes.
Liquid
If you need
cooling
all of the power, then they're underpowered.
Should I roll on to the next question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Do you think microtransactions should be banned from AAA games? So
Oh
the
my gosh.
examples this guy sent through were like apparently Assassin's Creed Unity.
Okay.
You so you go out and you buy the base game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then like you had to purchase
There's-
skins on top of that.
Well, I think with Unity, I think the problem was that there were day one microtransactions. People don't like day one microtransactions. They feel like when you buy the game, everything that is available for that game at that point in time should be yours.
They don't.
To make content and then withhold it from the public, and then sell it at release when it really could have, like it was clearly ready for release. I totally understand why people are getting grumpy about that.
That was I think that was the same feeling for like day one DLC as well. Was
Yeah.
that they had cut a chunk out of the game and said we can sell this for
Right.
more.
Yeah.
When that's not always.
Wait, do you know this?
That's what that. No. That's what people. That's what a lot of people.
Well,
thought, you know,
Mhm.
like they were afraid that was what had happened. But I think most of the time it's just like there's enough developers whose time is now freed up that they can make this extra stuff that they'll sell as DLC.
Mm. So, we as developers sort of understand the development cycles of these sorts of things. So you feel like they're kind of semi-justified, right, Blake? Or am I reading
think,
you wrong?
I think. Yeah, I think it's fine to make DLC like parallel to the game. Like if your studio is like polishing it up,
Sure.
right? If you're 90% done and there's a bunch of people doing nothing,
Yep.
they might as well be making DLC for it.
Sure.
And I just think it was probably not a good idea to have it come out on the exact same day because it totally looks like they've cut the chunk out of the game.
I am on the flip side there because if you've got another team working on content, even sure it might not fit into the story arc, but to me that's added value that you don't need to necessarily monetize. And if you're looking for like short-term gains, sure, go ahead and sell your extra content. But as a long-term customer, I'm going to look at that and go, you really are trying to squeeze every dollar out of me.
Okay, are you saying they should just roll that into the main?
No,
game?
I don't think they should roll it into the main game, but I think it should be like a free content patch that comes, right? Like even if it's not quite ready for the day the disc is printed, but it's ready for the day the disc is in the stores, I don't see why you can't just say day one awesome content patch. We love our fans. Here you go.
Companies do.
Some do, and I feel like a lot of those like customers really appreciate that.
I think CD Projekt Red is really good with that. Like I think they had a massive when the remastered version of Witcher 2 I think came out. I think there was a huge content patch for the PC people.
Okay. What do you reckon?
I'm wondering like how much, because we'd never know, but how much money they actually make on their end. Like maybe it looks dirty to us because maybe we just see it that way, but maybe some people were just jonesing for more Assassin's Creed stuff and they're just like, holy shit, I love that guy in the first game. Like yeah, I'll give them $3.
I guess it depends on what kind of microtransaction it is. Like, I mean, I'm really on with the ethical microtransactions.
Oh yeah.
So if it's just skins, I mean, it's fine. Like, you don't even have to do that, and it has no impact on gameplay.
Yeah.
But if it's a sweet kick-ass sword, then it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Unless your game is somehow based around that, but then it would be like a free-to-play game anyway, and not a paid AAA thing, right?
Sure, but then if you're selling a sword on a free-to-play game, that is not an ethical microtransaction, right?
Sure, yeah.
Unless it's just a
that's true. But yeah. I mean, maybe it's just a shitty game.
Yeah. Okay. You heard it here, folks. Assassin's Creed, shitty game.
I think that's not a. I mean, I never played this. I haven't played any Assassin's Creed.
Fine. Really?
No, I actually haven't. But the chatter on the net was that last Assassin's Creed was
a buggy piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Man, that one screenshot really threw everyone.
The headless one.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. When I saw a thumbnail of that, and I thought like, whoa, is this a new like Five Nights at Freddy or something? And I clicked on it, and I was like, Assassin's Creed. What?
I wish that if that was one of the DLC options, like for $3 and everyone loses their face, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I want that. I'd pay $3 for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Next question.
This is the last one from my buddy Andrew, and it's. Yeah, I guess it's an okay question. What do you guys? What do you think about game streaming over the internet? Will it work yet, or is it too early?
Good question.
Oh, like on live stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was working back at a certain game publication. I had seen demos of some of the game streaming stuff from a company called Gaikai.
Oh yeah.
Who I think was bought out by Sony.
Yeah.
And I remember they had a press release a few months before I left the company, and their big press release was that they had found either a workaround or broken some wireless transmission scientific law. Not when I say when I say law, I don't mean like police are going to come and arrest Gaikai.
You mean like the law of physics or something like that?
Yeah. Their big thing was so there's this limit that you hit with wireless transmission where there's only so much broadband, right? And there's on a wavelength. Once they're like, if you're in a stadium and everyone's on their cell phones, the majority of people are not going to get any reception because they can't fit that many signals. And they had allegedly found some way around it, and I thought that was super interesting. And I tried to find that article again. I couldn't find it. I think it might have been bogus.
Oh man, yeah.
So what you're saying
because that's like that would be a bit of a revolution.
It would
like,
be
in general,
it would be
not
very
just for,
very important
Yeah.
for
Like, I would love to
wireless
go to
transition
like
and
Big Day Out and be able to text my friend that's like
right.
standing next to me.
So also there's still latency issues with streaming.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Until there's I mean you either have to have servers everywhere, or you need like you need transmission to just be very like you need either like straight cables everywhere or wireless transmitters everywhere.
Oh man, that's like
It's just going to be a huge infrastructure problem.
it's like some cyberpunk future with just like cables like everywhere.
Yeah, like cables strung up from
Yeah,
poles,
yeah.
giving us power.
Fat pipes just going into buildings.
Yeah, imagine that. That'd be weird.
Is
Yeah.
is Steam doing anything?
Steam
Oh,
Steam has I don't think they have like
They-
proper over internet streaming, but they have over network streaming. So if you have two
Yeah.
computers with like Steam on, you can stream from one to the other.
Yeah.
I tried using it a few days ago, and the house I'm living in has terrible Wi-Fi, and I'm at the furthest point in the house from the wireless router,
Mhm.
and it did not work.
But that is like a router issue, right? It's not a.
I think it was well. So the other side of this is like the computer I was streaming it from was in my room, and I'm in the same. I'm like 5 feet from the computer I'm trying to stream it from,
Yep.
and it's doing it terribly.
Where's the router?
The router is like 25, 30 feet away. So
Feet.
that's 10 meters
Okay.
basically.
Gotcha. Yeah.
8 to 10 meters.
millimeters.
Global audience, guys. And it. So I think, and also my computer has a wireless transmitter on it. So there's probably a way I could have just beamed it straight to my Surface, but I didn't do that, and just didn't work. It was just laggy and unresponsive. Also, it was a weird thing. I thought it would be like possible to have the hardware streaming the game while someone was using that computer,
Oh.
but that's not the case. It basically
Yeah.
takes over the whole computer, so you have it running on 2 computers. And so I was like, I was able to like Alt-Tab out whatever the person on the computer was doing. I was able to just mess with their experience.
Oh man.
The PlayStation had a thing where like you could. This was after they brought Gaikai and everything, and
Sure.
they released it in like one of the latest patches, and like you're meant to be able to say like, Nick, you're playing your PlayStation, then I'm on my PlayStation. You're playing say Far Cry or something,
Sure.
and I can like through this feature like watch you play Far Cry on your thing. So I guess that's just streaming video, but it also gives you the option where if you are stuck at a certain level, I could be like, dude, Nick, give me control. and apparently, like through the service, I could like control your character, get you through this thing, hand you back the controller virtually.
Is that
That's-
the virtual couch?
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's
Yeah.
like something sharing, like screen sharing or
Okay,
something along
yeah.
those lines. But so I've been trying to use that, playing PlayStation with my buddy, but it's just not like so. This whole streaming video games, it's not going to happen in New Zealand anytime soon. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, because they have the service on that service on PlayStation,
Yeah.
but it just doesn't work. Like maybe it works, and
Is it just a latency issue? Like it's
yeah,
just
I'm guessing
yeah.
so.
a huge delay between your action and what you're seeing on the screen?
Yeah, so I think like you just bring up the option, you go to share your screen, and it will just check what the bandwidth is between two people, two
Yep.
users, and then like determine whether or not you're good to go.
Oh, well, it just wouldn't let you do it at
Yeah,
all?
and it was just like,
Oh.
sorry, dude. You,
Oh,
like,
that's
it's
even
way too
worse.
slow, right?
It's like you're not even allowed to try.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah, maybe it is too early.
so Andrew, no, we're not going to be able to stream games anytime soon. At
It's
least
a-
not in New Zealand.
It's a good dream though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
And actually, did you guys go to that New Zealand GDC thing earlier this?
Yes,
no,
I did.
What was it, late last
Last year, yeah.
Alex St. John sounds like he's working on something, right? Isn't that what he teased?
Damn it, I can't even remember.
Doesn't it sound
he said
promising?
he had some crazy stuff like I don't know.
For
Yeah,
those that
He's
don't-
working on something crazy from what he was saying.
Yeah,
the-
from what I got, it was like Gaikai and bloody On Live, they're just streaming like shitty compressed images, like however many frames a second with input. And he's like, I'm gonna work it like from this angle.
That's right.
He was quite tight-lipped about it.
For those that don't know, Alex St. John is one of the creators of the Xbox.
He got DirectX
at
Microsoft.
Yeah,
He was leading
which
that.
is what the Xbox was based off of.
Oh,
The name Direct Xbox.
Yeah, I actually... Is it bad that I only found that out like a few months ago?
Yes, it is bad.
That
Coincidentally,
Xbox
at the Alex St. John talk.
Because he actually did like the opening talk at the year before's NZGDC. Were you there?
For when?
It
The
was
year
like
prior.
2013. He had the opening talk where he was like, "Hey man, I'm Alex St. John.
Yes, I was
I've moved
there.
to New Zealand."
Yeah.
Like,
Did he say it like that? Hey man, I'm Alex St. John. What up?
pretty much.
Well,
I'm done
he-
Xbox.
He I remember he had a backpack and he's like, I literally just moved, and he pointed at his backpack.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's
Classy.
awesome.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
He said he was setting up a studio in like Cambridge, right? New Zealand.
I've heard like that's where he's based.
Yeah, it's a good place.
I could, yeah, okay.
That's where my parents used to live. Yeah.
Used to live.
Yeah, they moved.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like it's not the kind of place for like high tech stuff.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
Big cornfields.
Yeah, it's like lots of little old ladies walking around. Like it's like a piece of like idyllic England put in the middle of New Zealand.
Have you been there, Nick?
No.
All right.
The Cambridge I know is in Massachusetts.
Oh.
Do you have some questions from the forums?
Yep, I do.
Forum questions time. There are some good ones. There are also a whole bunch we can't answer for reasons.
Let's see, this is from. What is that username? Help me with usernames.
Nate2K4, NAIT2K4, forum user Nate2K4. So your question was, do you consider Dear Esther to be a game, and why?
Yes, I do.
Great, moving on.
Dude, it's like
Go
an
ahead.
interactive, like, it's interactive.
It's
I wouldn't consider it a game like Pac-Man
it's not.
or Super Mario.
I think it's not a game in the traditional sense,
Ooh.
right?
Oh,
It
yeah.
is like an interactive media thing.
Yep.
But it runs in a game engine. It acts like a game.
Does quack like a duck.
It does, yeah.
So, I have two stories about. Well, okay, so first of all, I've been reading a lot of books about what a game is because
Yeah.
there's all these like studies and like all these university people doing stuff like what makes a game and one of the main things is like it involves choice. You have to be able to make choices and you have to be able to interact with it in some capacity. And
Choices like how, like, because you can totally say, like, you can walk many places in Dear Esther, so you could say, I choose to go down the beach.
Sure, that's choice.
Or I choose to go this
Yeah.
way.
Uh-huh.
But ultimately, you do end, it is like a authored experience.
Yeah, I think another one of the components of a game is that there is an outcome usually. Like you you win or you lose.
Yeah, is it, does it have to have a fail state?
A lot of the definitions I have seen do involve some sort of fail state. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure there's no way to actually fail
So.
Dear Esther. You just finish it.
So then there's this argument that it's technically a toy. Then it's something you play with, but
Yeah.
it isn't a game.
I mean, it's people have called Minecraft a toy.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you can die in that.
But that does have a lot more game mechanics than Dear Esther.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lack of definition of what Dear Esther is. I mean, do you know what I mean?
I do. I also made the mistake. So that came out on Valentine's Day, I think 2011. in the U.S.
Okay.
And I got it for my girlfriend at the time, thinking, "Oh, dear Esther, it's Valentine's Day. She'll like
right.
this.
Yeah.
This is a nice little love letter to my girlfriend." And then I didn't realize it's the most depressing experience in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
So she's like, "Why did you get this
Happy
for me?"
Valentine's Day.
It's
Yeah.
horrible. Like, I thought it would be good. I don't think she thought it was a game. She thought it was like some comment on our relationship.
Ooh. Right.
Um,
I mean, it is fun. Saying it's not a game is not a negative. I don't think.
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Interactive experience.
I have heard people there was a lot of talk exactly like this on the internet when it came out, and I think a lot of people seemed angry that it wasn't a game.
Okay.
It had no shotgun.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
I'm gonna say it's a game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say if you go to Steam and click games and search for Darius, that it will be in there.
So that's 1 point for game, 1 point for not a game, and 1 point for possible ruiner of relationships. Well, didn't ruin it, but probably didn't help. All right, next question. How do you work your phone? I'm just gonna throw it at the ground unless you fix this right now.
We can always cut out the dead air.
No, we're gonna listen. Enjoy this dead air. Enjoy this moment of silence that I'm talking over.
There you go.
Okay. User, who am I looking at here?
Actually, let me look at those questions.
Okay.
They might all be unable to answer.
No, Blake, you should have been a little more prepared.
Oh, maybe I should have.
So either you're hearing this
Wait,
right
actually,
now.
didn't you want to say something about Kickstarter?
We'll save that for another time because
Really?
that could be a long talk. I have a lot of thoughts about Kickstarter.
We're 30 minutes in. We've got plenty of time. We can talk
Fine,
about
let's talk about Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. What do you guys think about Kickstarter?
I think it's great.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Yeah, man. Like,
Sweet, good talk.
No, it's the whole put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
It's that approach.
I think people can abuse it.
Mm.
Sure. But people can abuse other shit as well.
Yeah.
Everything.
So, Kickstarter. We got as GGG. I think we sold beta access on Kickstarter, correct?
No.
No.
No,
we
we
had
ran
our
our
own
own.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then. I thought there was a Kickstarter at some point.
No.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, somebody probably called it a Kickstarter, but
I have
it wasn't on.
We had the supporter
Kickstarter.
thing with the Kiwis,
Yeah.
and that was done all through the Path of Exile website.
Cool.
I mean, that is basically, Kickstarter.
But what would you like to talk about?
Well, so, I think crowdfunding is an interesting avenue for getting funding for a game, but I think I've seen too many instances of it just involving massive disappointment at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also seen a lot of instances of it failing to get money to worthy projects. A friend of mine was working on a game called Americana Dream? Something like that. And it's like a 16-bit old school sprite-based RPG, like Final Fantasy style, visual style, but it takes place in 1700s America, the founding of the United States, the Revolutionary War or whatever it was called.
It's a good setting.
It looks really cool, and it had clever dialogue and interesting mechanics, and they were asking for $80,000, and they got $20,000, so the game just didn't get funded. Meanwhile, long ago I worked for a guy who was doing a project with another big game company, and it was a soundtrack thing, and the project was not good, and I didn't like working with the guy, and it failed pretty miserably, mostly due to his poor management and bad scoping and all these major issues with this project. He did a Kickstarter a couple years ago for a cell phone based, old school-ish looking tactical RPG thing, and they got $1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is
And then a video of that game came out about a month ago, or like a demo of it.
Oh, okay.
And it looks atrocious.
Oh, shit.
And everybody on there is like, I can't believe we put all this money towards that. And I mean, I could have told them how terrible it would be, but there's this, because Kickstarter is like a focus of hype. If you can build hype around your project, regardless of what the outcome of that project will be, you can get funding that you're not really worthy of.
It is definitely a popularity contest.
Yeah, man, I think everyone going into Kickstarter would like that hype. So like you're also catering to like a specific audience there as well. Like maybe your buddy's pitch just wasn't that great.
Well, it wasn't very notorious. This other guy had a big name on the project, but a big name is no guarantee of quality or success. And in this case, quality is not, like, it just doesn't look good. And the big problem with a site or with crowdfunding in general, where you're buying the product so far in advance of the product being completed, is that there's no guarantee that you're gonna get what you paid for, right?
Yeah.
But I have that same thing when I go out and buy like a tennis racket. Like it's advertised as a tennis racket, but it's complete garbage. And it
But
falls
also,
apart in like
usually in that kind of case, you can take it back to the store and say this tennis racket is garbage.
Yeah, good call.
I mean, you can't do that on Kickstarter. You're just like, here's your garbage.
Yeah,
enjoy.
Enjoy your garbage.
Yeah.
Well, you don't like the garbage? Too bad. You're stuck with it.
Yeah, I think that's a huge flaw on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And one of the major, like, big conversations last year was when Oculus sold, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing a lot of people were steaming after that, the whole buyout, like asking for money to invest in like the headset.
Yeah, and then
just be bought out.
Yeah, but the thing is, would they have been bought out if they hadn't had that money from Kickstarter backers?
Well, they got a lot of exposure from Kickstarter.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah, see,
But there's also
just,
that just because they have such a good product.
I think there just needs to be a better system in place for situations where the end product isn't what was promised, and I think that you should be forced to be much further through a project before you can make your Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have some proof that you're not just lying.
I mean, especially for
You
video games, because
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody decides to make a Kickstarter for a video game and they've never made a game before, they're going to way underestimate how much it's going to cost to make a video game and how difficult it is.
Yeah.
But if you see a Kickstarter where somebody's like, we've actually already got a demo.
Yep.
You know, then you're kind of like, yeah, this looks good. I'm going to pay the money to make this an actual fully fleshed out thing.
Yeah, and Kickstarter, I'm sure as a company, does the best they can to, ensure that the projects are real, et cetera, et cetera. But they can only do so much. What I'm trying to say is, don't use Kickstarter.
You do also, like, I think you can, to some extent, see the charlatans. Like someone who's just got a video of themselves saying, I'm going to make this awesome game, and here's all these crazy things, open world, you can do anything you want, blah, 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 give me money and I'll make it. Mm-hmm. And they show no steps at all towards that. Yeah. Then they're probably just going to take your money.
Yeah, man. That kind of thing happens everywhere. Yeah. Like with people just misusing tools. Like it reminds me of, there was Kim.com and his mega upload thing. Doesn't it remind you of that? Like you have a service and people just misuse it, and then somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like Kickstarter needs a way to fact check and check that quality. Yeah. Through projects. But the idea of Kickstarter, I think is really cool.
The idea is great. It's just how do you police? I mean, how can you police the scammers?
On the other hand, it's not really a new problem. Pre-orders have the same problem. When you are encouraged, you Steam, you're encouraged to pre-order all these games. Yeah. and you get bonuses for pre-ordering.
Yeah.
And so you pre-purchase these games, and then they turn out to not be good, and you have a bonus for a game you don't care about.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why I think a lot of people don't pre-order games anymore.
But then a lot of those people will Kickstarter something, which to me is even worse. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Have you, just aside to that, do you remember when Duke Nukem Forever finally came out?
Yeah.
Did you hear that story of the guy who had his pre-order of Duke Nukem Forever from
1995 or
yeah,
whatever
and
it was.
actually managed to use it?
GameStop. I saw the receipt. It's really funny. That turned out really well, right?
So he was,
yeah,
That's good. Everyone loved that game. Oh boy, Duke, what happened?
Like, did you prepare any of your own questions? Did you?
I don't have any of my own questions.
Okay.
We've got a whole forum full of them.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Such as Blake is looking.
I'm looking. Okay, I quite like this one by.
Do you want me to read the name?
Yeah, you
Okay.
read. I'm not good
I
with
think maybe he's
What's
blind.
the font?
Rykas. Rykas. Is that who you were looking at?
Yep.
Okay.
And he, I'll just like.
And you would like to know how we got started, what made us get into our fields, and what a day-to-day breakdown is like. Are there any office rituals or quirks?
Is that guy like putting his question to Grinding Gear Games or us podcast? Or are we
yes.
just interpret it?
I mean, but I mean,
Yes
we've
to
already
all.
sort of said how we got into games.
Oh yeah.
But I do like the office ritual stuff.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
You mean the murder? No, nothing. You'll cut that out, right? You'll cut out
The sacrifices, the daily blood
I'll
sacrifices.
do some heavy editing.
We do go through a
later.
lot of interns.
By the way, if you want to intern at
Supply your own knife. Though.
what daily rituals do you have?
Daily, I'm not too sure on daily, but I mean we have curry.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Friday.
The weekly curry. Yeah.
Yep, that's become like a bit of a pilgrimage to
The curry
house.
place.
Yeah, the curry
Yeah. So that's it. One.
Yeah, and that's all we did.
A couple hours later, a Mr. Whippy truck.
Oh,
often comes
yeah,
by.
Mr. Whippy comes by.
That's the
He's
highlight of Friday.
an ice cream truck comes by.
Well, I love the Mr. Whippy truck, but the guy that is the creepiest looking ice cream truck I've ever seen. Like when
Really, that's one of the nicest ice cream trucks I've ever seen.
Oh man! Well, I have nice fond memories of bright colors and
You know, like
well
the cardboard
painted
in the windows.
and like yeah, this is like kind of gray
Yeah.
and all the pictures are sort of
Is that your childhood memories though? Is that rose tinted glasses and maybe that they were always just
could be it could just I don't know.
Because
I think just New Zealand ice cream trucks might be creepy as hell.
I think like if you look, I think the worst thing you can do is look inside that ice cream
Oh,
truck.
I know. And luckily children can't see that
Yeah.
high. But when you look inside an ice cream truck and it's just bare and steel. And,
Yeah, it's not the Candyland you think it's.
Yeah,
gonna be in
like
there.
you could clearly clinically murder someone in there, and there's a freezer
yeah.
right there, and
Yeah.
all the surfaces can be wiped down. That's all I'm thinking when I look at the ice cream truck. But I think about murders a lot. So if you've got your own murder, write it. No.
What other rituals? Did you have a whole bunch? You've got the coffee thing going on.
Oh yeah, me and one of the animators, Pete, have been ordering coffee from various sources.
Mm-hmm.
Have you tried the coffee that comes from monkey poop?
No, that's way too expensive, man. Too rich for my blood. I can't afford poop. What are you
A
talking
friend of
about?
mine got some.
Yeah? Seriously?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. How was it?
Said it was good. I didn't want to try it.
Were you afraid it would taste like shit?
Not so. I just don't want something that was shit.
I don't know. I've never heard about this. I've heard about the cat poop one.
No, that basically is
Cat
like it's
poop?
civet. Civet is a type of
Yeah, it's
sort
it's
of cat-ish creature.
I thought it was a. Maybe
Oh, is it the same thing we were talking?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
It's from. I think they got.
I
it
don't
from
know.
Bali.
The thing I want to know is like, how did they discover that coffee tasted good?
The story my friends told me, which I'm 99% sure is not true, is the guy, his neighbor kept coming over asking to have some coffee, and he started serving him coffee that came from poop as a means of discouraging him. And instead, this guy was like, "This is the best coffee I've ever had. Where are you getting this?"
Give me some of that coffee.
Yeah.
I'll have the poop coffee, please. Let's have another forum user question. Hang on. Did you guys work at what did you guys work on before coming to GGG? Did you guys work on anything?
Actually, you've got quite a prolific modeling career before.
Yeah, I do. I was
training games.
You were in Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, before I got into video games, I was a modeler. No, I worked on a couple iOS games for a New Zealand company, and there was like
Name them.
Name
them now.
The games.
Yeah, everyone will play them.
Oh man.
And you'll feel embarrassed.
There was the main game was a game called Hope's Quest, and that was it was actually based on a PS1 game that I can't remember the name of, but it was these cubes, these like rows of cubes would roll towards you, and you had to basically kind of like drop bombs to eliminate the cubes.
Okay.
And
did you model the cubes?
Yeah, I did.
It's really hard.
He was like the entire assets department.
Yeah, I was the art department.
Oh wow!
I did the texturing, modeling, animation, sound.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah.
Sound. Were they all just you going? I'm a cube. I'm a cube.
Hope's voice. Hope was a female, the main female character. That was a pretty tough voice too.
Look out for these cubes.
We didn't have Mr. Hanky because it was poor in our game.
Should have. That would have.
Yeah, that game did reasonably well. Yeah, and I've spoken to the guy who I used to work with, the company is called Rush Digital, and they're doing some crazy stuff at the moment with like streaming across continents.
Cool.
They set up a tennis game with one team in New Zealand and one team in Australia, and they had webcams, and they made some crazy like tennis ball firing thing to fire it in the exact direction that the person is hitting the tennis ball, because they hit like some sort of board on their end, and the computer and the computer knows where that is and then fires the cannon.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy. And they did a tug of war too, where I mean that seems like it would be slightly easier, where you're just like
it gives them the force.
Yeah, it's just registering force and that.
How would that work with the delay though?
I don't know. Apparently it was quite good.
Sounds like a tough experience to move into the home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was. I mean, it was a just some advertisement type thing for something. Yeah. So I worked for them, and I made Hope's Quest. I made a game called Swipe Slam.
Yes.
That was
sounds awesome.
Was
that an MDS or?
No, that was not an MDS. That was the first. Actually, that was the first proper game I ever actually made, and that was on the App Store. I think it's safe to say it wasn't a particularly good game.
Okay.
It suffered a little bit from feature creep. You know what I mean? Where we started off with a pretty solid idea, and then as we progressed through development, we're like, oh, what if we add this? What if we add this? Oh, how about we do this? And then suddenly it just blew out to like.
You're not even making the same.
It was in the end it was vaguely the same game, and it was just like too many cooks kind of thing.
Okay.
And we made Get Kicking, which was a game where you kick a rugby ball through a goalpost, and you just use your swipe motion on the phone to do that. And
nice.
It was quite good. I liked that game. That's all the games I made there. But they also made Drift Legends.
Never heard of it.
That was in it's a car game where you drift.
Or a wrecked boat game.
You're adrift.
Yeah. Just drift.
A Drift Legends. Yeah. That game was in partnership with Car Magazine, I think.
A performance game?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
cool. And it did really well, but mainly because they had that magazine's advertisement behind them.
Yeah.
So my sort of
That's cool, man.
history,
That's
yeah.
quite like a wide, like art styles and
Yeah,
assets.
it's a lot of broad
yeah.
player types there.
It was a good experience. It was
Mhm.
fun, yeah.
And then you quit in anger and joined GBG
And then,
instead.
yeah, kind of. I worked at a call center for a little while.
Ooh.
Well, in between the
Did
two?
you?
Yeah, because I went like 6 months unemployed between there
shit.
and Grinding Gears.
Yeah.
And that's when I worked at a call center.
I worked at a call center.
That's rough.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to
You just stepped out of media design school straight into Grinding Gears.
yeah, well, my thing was like I studied in NatCol for a bit, wanted to do more 3D, went to MDS, studied 3D animation.
MDS is Media Design School.
Yeah,
for those listening.
based in Auckland, New Zealand. And yeah, after the course finished, I was like, right, I've got like 4 months till the game development course starts up.
Oh, yeah.
Then I go back home to Wellington, hang out at my parents' place for a bit, and get an email from Eric saying, "Hey man, we saw your reel.
Man.
Would you like to do this art test?"
Yeah.
I spent like a day on that, and after that it was like, "Oh, would you like to come up for an interview?"
Oh,
And
wow.
Yeah, I just came up. Like,
What was
next
your
week.
art test? Was it the same as I had?
No, at that time I think we were looking for people that could retopologize like high poly
right.
characters.
Yeah, because that's
Which,
like I always
for-
I look over what you're doing, and that's like 90% of the time is
Yeah.
retopologizing stuff.
For people who don't know what retopologizing high poly characters is, it means you're just making them lower poly, right?
Yeah, well,
Trying to maintain the shape.
yeah, you want to like keep their silhouette and try to carry across all the detail you can.
Mhm.
'Cause typically, it's like you'd make a high poly model first, and then because the resolution of that character is so high, it'd be like you wouldn't be able to get it into the game. You'd
Sure.
have to bake those textures down and bake the normal map onto this character and use that model in the game.
So you'd basically put a lot of the detail from the polygons into the texture of the character.
Yeah, from the high model.
Yeah.
From the high poly model to the low.
Great.
And yeah, so it was that, and I also like made a couple assets. Like that was the art test. Came out, met the team, and yeah, I
Yeah,
started
that's
work
awesome.
like a couple weeks later.
How long ago was that?
Jeez.
Like how many years before the launch of the game?
It was around November 2008.
Whoa!
Yeah.
So
Holy
that was
crap!
a long time ago.
I think 2-3 years. I forget when
Would-
we actually went into open beta.
Open beta would have been 2012.
You guys were in open beta when I showed up, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Like I think I got in like towards the end of. No, I.
It's all foggy to me now.
Yeah, no, I got towards the end of closed beta. Yeah.
Okay. But that was really exciting. Like, you know, really early on, it was just like we were working, but there was really nothing to show for it because like all the
Yeah.
back end had to come together.
Mm.
Like, Act 1 wasn't even like,
Oh, wow.
done to...
What was the first thing you worked on?
Probably the art test. So it was like a statue, like for the forest. tile
Wait, is
set.
that in the game?
I think so. It's like a statue. She's kind of covered in moss.
Okay.
So
So when you're playing Path of Exile, keep an eye out for a moss-covered statue.
actually, I worked a lot on Act 1, 2, and 3. Those were kind of my acts. And now it's more of a...
You did Act 1 Town.
Yep, Act
Right.
2.
Act
Half
2?
of Act 2 town as well. All of Act 3 town.
Jeez.
Quite a lot of the assets. All the characters.
I always liked Act 1 Town a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's actually my favorite town.
I like it because of the lighting.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. But man, like, all the towns, like, changed a whole bunch
Oh, yeah.
whilst making it. It was almost like you get a piece of concept art, work on it, and it's just like 20, 50
yeah.
iterations later, like, we have what we have now.
Yeah.
What did Aquan Town look like when you first started? working on
Yeah,
it?
really bad.
Flat plane.
Yeah, man, like, back then it was sort of like 5 texture maps. You had,
Oh,
like,
wow.
you know, a couple like cliff textures, a couple ground textures,
Oh,
and
man.
like, you know, that repeating brick, like, throughout
Oh, yeah.
the middle of the base of Act 1 town.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we added things like the boats turned upside down, Nessa
yeah.
and everyone. That guy at the gate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you do the dead baby?
No, actually, I think Eric did that.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
That's been removed, right?
No. Well, I don't think so.
Well,
you
I
can
don't
still
know.
find it on the beaches.
Can you? I know it's in
so?
the files.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the doodad.
Yeah, I've seen that. Wow.
I thought it was still around. I thought it was just rare.
Maybe not. Maybe it's an Easter egg.
Mm.
What a nice Easter egg.
Easter fetus.
Yeah. What was the first thing you worked on, Nick?
Invasion monsters.
Okay.
The much maligned invasion monsters.
Oh.
In fact, I think one of the earliest ones I did was Shiver Shell, who is notorious for blowing up entire parties.
Nice.
He's this crab that would basically use frost wall and keep you close to him while he was in crab form. And then when you got him into sand spitter form, when he got into low life of sand spitter form, he would blow up all of the sand spitters he'd been spawning the entire fight.
Oh, damn.
All of them at once. Yeah. And he would spawn them based on damage taken. So he would blow up parties.
Why did you do that? Why would you do that to players?
I thought it would be funny. And it was. It was really funny.
How much rage did you get for that?
I think I lucked out on that one because a lot of the players found the deaths funnier than
Oh, that's good.
more than they were rage inducing. Like you'd see videos of people who die and go, "What? Yeah. Oh!" And I was like, "Yes." How about you? What was the first thing you worked on?
First thing I worked on. Well, my artist didn't make it into the game.
Oh, dude, that was epic. And actually, like, after seeing Blake's art test, it was like, we have to hire this guy. Like, he has submitted, like, the coolest thing. You know, you made the tower bottom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like...
That was, Separate of God, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's, like, million times different in the game than how I modelled it. But then there wasn't even that in the game anyway, so...
Yeah, man, you killed it. Like, the other guys, man, they barely modelled, like, what you did. And after hearing, like, that you made the entire tower...
Yeah.
we were like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, I made, like, the whole, like, top of the tower and, like, the actual, like, where Dominus fights.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was just given the concept art of, you know, the Act 3 map.
Yes.
I had been given a zoomed-in portion on the tower and said,
good.
Make that.
Oh, man.
And so I just ended up modelling this whole thing and, like, done the sort of top bit where Dominus fights.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was completely not like how it looked in the game at all. And then I got some feedback from Eric, and he was like, "Oh, I just focused on the door." So I like deleted like half of my stuff. It was like, I don't know. I think that was only like half a day. I mean, it wasn't extreme detail or anything, but it was time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's time well spent.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you got a job.
Yeah, that's good. But the first thing I worked on was some carts for Act 3.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those, Vern?
I think so. They're in the marketplace, right?
Yeah, they're around the warehouse area mainly. But I was given these like nice carts that another artist had like built and told to smash them up.
Nice.
And I was like, sweet, I can do this.
Probably less fun to do with a computer than it is with a hammer.
Oh yeah.
But still sounds fun.
Yeah, it was good, but it was. I mean, there was the learning curve of going to a new studio because previously working with in iPhone games with such low poly counts, I was not used to. Like there were more polygons in like a couple of tiles than in the entire games that I'd made, so I kind of had to like get used to. It's okay to add things, adding extra detail is good. Yeah, so that was just like a learning curve type of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty much out of time at this point. So we've got a whole bunch of forum questions that are going to have to wait until episode 2 ? If you liked this podcast, let us know. If you didn't, keep your mouths shut. No. Give us all your feedback on the forums. We're happy to hear what you think of this. And hopefully we'll have a weekly-ish podcast for you guys to listen to. And feel free to ask more questions. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah,
and
cheers.
thanks for being here.
See you.
Catch you later.